As what we all know, death is the number one conflict to watch over. I remember the days when I was a kid and could trick or treat for Halloween at night, and my parents are older siblings. Nowadays, it's different. To have a nice stroll in the park at night is entirely impossible without you having to carry a weapon or to be on guard. That's awful, right? That's what we all know. Gang violence and also gun violence is a huge problem in society today. As a matter of fact, this isn't just happening in Chicago, in this city, in this community, in this area, but in numerous other cities and states and countries, so yes, it is global. As quoted from the Violence Interrupters, gang violence is like an untreated disease that when you catch it, a piece is broken off and is placed someplace else. It tends to spread. Curbing gang violence is quite the challenge to eliminate. I can't just snap my fingers and wish for this to go away, but I wish I could. Curbing gang violence is important to me and others because it affects the community and the people in it. Since the police aren't good enough to protect the people, I believe it's time for us, the people, to make a stand and cease this outrage. And without action, this violence will continue to increase so much that the next generation will get attached to this. It won't seem to see the effect it has on them with others.
All right.
Youth in society will slowly decrease. You have so many teens in prison or even have felonies. Over the past year, 60% has spiked in gang violence. If that gangs are preying on citizens in this phenomenon called wilding. As you can see, so far, the U.S. is in the lead of being the state for having the most violent actions happening. And speaking of wilding, does anybody know what the term wilding means? Anyone? Has anyone ever heard it on Fox News or ever seen of it? The term is being used by street cops in Chicago to describe teenagers in this city's toughest neighborhood. And quote said from Michael Dowley in this article, groups of teenagers from New York City's tougher neighborhood will sweep through Central Park and Times Square. Now this happened in Chicago, Denver, and St. Louis. Now, what I need you all to do is think, how can we get rid of this issue? Can we eliminate these violent characters by getting neighborhood watchmen or more policemen out at night at the same time the shootings take place? Maybe. But the real problem starts off in homes. You see, some kids grow up in nice homes, and some are less fortunate than others. See, they have a family, but then they don't have a family. You get me? They turn to gangs and see them as their family. See, young people join gangs either because they're pressured by friends, and especially males. Males feel as if this is how they prove to themselves that they're a real man. This is how they prove to themselves and their friends that they can be the toughest of it all. See, recognize that they're at that emotional stage of feeling as if they're incapable of dealing with the world when with something bigger, when they're with a bigger crowd. See, you have kids who grow up too fast to the point where it seems as if the kids are the parents and the parents are the kids. You have kids doing illegal things just to support themselves and others. So basically, you have the kids raising themselves. My plan of action is to start a youth organization program where troubled teens can come in and receive help and export their needs to the organization. I had an interview with my everyday person, which is my mom, and I asked her this question: why do you think gangs is affecting teens? How are they affecting teens? And she said, kids these days have no type of respect for when it comes down to speaking to or near their elders. And she was right. So I started to think, does this affect their behavior towards the world? The Youth Violence Prevention Organization is an example. This organization employs strategies to curb youth and gang-related violence upon several national best practice models. And also the schools. Schools should open up programs too, since some schools know others know some of their students' background information. The schools in the communities could receive government grants or could provide a fundraiser to open up these programs for these troubled teens. The community itself can open up its own organization. People may be afraid of this action because they're either afraid that the problem might come back to them or bounce back on a loved one. Now I know you're all wondering, how would a 15-year-old girl like me know such information? How could I? Because I personally can understand that quote. About 3 or 4 years ago, in midsummer, 11:46 p.m., it was me, my dad, and my brother, and we were coming back from visiting our grandparents. When we pulled up in the driveway, my brother and my dad exited out the car, and 2 guys dressed in black came out of nowhere with my dad. And all I heard was, "Hey you, got some money?" Now I was supposedly asleep, but then all I heard was laughter, and it ended quickly. I peeked my head out the window, and I see these 2 guys dressed in black. I look at them, and all I see is this. This is all I see. I see my brother and my dad, their hands up like this. Never have I witnessed such fear. Never have I witnessed such a scary scene that way. To see a weapon, 2 weapons, pointed at the ones I love. And I started to think, if one bullet can do a lot of damage, imagine what 2 can do. So later that night, they got away with the money, of course. We called the police, and of course, we described them the best way we could. They said they will have a warrant out for their arrest. And the sad part about it was, a month or 2 later, we found out who they were. They were friends of my brother, and supposedly gang members. And the worst part about it was that they just lived right around the corner from us. So these are everyday people that we see, that we talk to, that we say hey to every day. And they had the courage to do us like that. Now let me ask y'all, how many of you plan to have children in the future? Plan to be successful in life? Any of you? I don't see no hands, so no kids. So let me ask you this. Do you want your kids to live in a community, an area where the police, they will treat you like you're a thug on the street? And everyday gang violence, it happens almost every day. And the police, they just ride past. They will stop, they will pull you over and look at you and ask questions. That's because you're walking around with a group of friends. Or you're wearing the colors black or red, because they're formerly gang colors. Now, could you imagine a world of community where there's peace and quiet, and it's not much trouble around you? As of today, in my opinion, history is taking place. You walk past it every day, you don't seem to notice it. But how come I do? How many of you live in a decent neighborhood? How many of you? Okay. How many of you live in an okay sorted neighborhood? Anyone? I see some hands. So if society is stuck in my plans, then maybe, just maybe, the world will have a huge decrease in gun violence and gang violence, having a huge decrease in communities. If I were to be given $1 million, I would somehow arrange a nonprofit youth organization program. Like I said before, where troubled teens can come in and export their needs to us. To say how the police and the people need to be more involved in trying to make the city of Chicago a safer place. See, without action, we continue to live in fear. And someone once told me something, that bad is not good unless worse happens. What is happening right now? Can you see it? Can you stop the violence? Thank you.